How we doing, guys? Welcome to the Mission Fit podcast, episode 12. Very aware there's not been a podcast for a long time, but this one is perfectly titled Evolution. And the reason it is because for beautiful things to happen, we have to evolve. And Mission Fit, the thread of Mission Fit, the ethic, the values behind it is about evolution. We as coaches, we're evolving every day. We preach that to our clients. And basically Mission Fit started through that vein. Excuse me. Myself, obviously, I started Mission Fit coming up in 12 years, which is quite scary to think it's been that long. But it was a process of evolution for me initially. Health and fitness, I've made no mistake in telling this on previous podcasts and to my clients and to both Nicky and Sean that Mission Fit kind of saved my life. Health and fitness saved my life. And that's exactly why we are coaches, because we know the benefits that health and fitness, good nutrition, and all the other good stuff that comes with that kind of fitness side of things brings. So evolution is the consistent thread all the way through. I've came in a crazy journey with Mission Fit, and the journey then kind of blended in perfectly with the guys here. Sean and Nicky come on at a perfect time for me personally in the business, and we elevated the business to new heights, and it continues to grow and grow and grow. You guys have heard the journey from my side of things, but we're here to talk about other things today. So I'll not kind of bore you with the details of how I developed the company. I think what I wanted to share today and what we wanted to share today was how the business started to kind of develop and evolve through the guys coming on board. The earliest memory we have, we were kind of, obviously you'll understand what this podcast's about quite soon. But we were kind of joking in the gym this week about some of the earliest messages we were sending each another. And Sean had been sending me screenshots and I'd been kind of talking about some of the stuff. And one of the earliest messages I've got is back in like the 3rd of March 2021. And I remember Sean had like kind of been part of Mission Fit for a few challenges previous to that. And I remember thinking like, well, previous to that, like me and Sean kind of knew each other anyway. We'd played 5-a-sides together, but never really in the context of like friendship. It was always like, how you doing, mate? That kind of stuff. Sean then alluded that he was quite nervous when he saw me and all that.
When I seen you,
which is weird, right? He sent me a screenshot the other day there about notes he'd taken after the first call with me, and like he'd put like call with Roy Blakely and pure like formally put my name and all that, right? So it took us a while to kind of blend into this kind of friendship. But the point I'm trying to make is Sean had kind of come on board. Was it off the back of like a Facebook post or something like that?
Aye, mate, it was at the time, like, I think it was just before Christmas one year. And like the challenges were like getting heavily promoted and I'm like that. I'd just kind of started my fitness journey. My dad, of all people, sent my calories. And I'd been doing that for a few months and I was like, I want to see what these challenges are all about. Mm-hmm. And they were just everywhere, man. Everywhere you looked, it was Mission Fit. And I was like, right, fuck it. I'm gonna take a leap and sign up. And you know, I would about limited spaces and all that. I was like, I wonder if I'm going to get in. And then obviously get in, and then complete the first one, and then it was kind of midway through that second one, as you say, sent the message, and just a day in work, I was like, this 9 to 5 is not for me, man, because everything I was waking up and I was like, right, I can't wait to go home. And at the time, training in my garage, it was kind of, it wasn't post-lockdown, it was that kind of weird stage where gyms were open, they were closed, they were kind of open, shut. Like, I was going home just training in my garage by myself, going walks and things like that, and just doing what you could do at the time. And I found myself looking a lot more towards that kind of part of my day than I was my actual work. And I was like, I wonder what I could actually do about this. Like, I just felt like that was kind of telling me something.
Aye.
And then I remember standing in the Boots Pharmacy car park in Kilburn on the phone to you like that. Yeah, I was just thinking about this.
Because the message you sent me was like, can I chat to you? And I was like, everything good? And then it was like something like the time frame only like 10 minutes, and you're like, I can call you now.
Aye.
And I remember like before you called me, I already knew what you were going to say, because like I'd said to you after the conversation, like I knew that was coming. Because I remember saying to Laura before that I'd been watching all your videos, like, because what you done was quite good, because you started your wee fitness page. Aye. That was almost just like accountability for you.
SCM active.
Aye, and it was like you used to see you in the garage like squatting with the big kind of like fake dumbbells and all that. Like, but we look back at that now, and I remember we had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, like, it was crazy how, like, focused and, like, because you didn't have access to, like, gyms and all that, but you were so motivated to get and do that. And I think that was the point I was making there. Like, when you joined the first, like, challenge, it was like a 12-week challenge, I think that was it?
No, it was 6, but it was like 6 and then a break and then another 6 almost.
Right.
So it was like 2 and...
But even like even to date, like, probably one of my top 5 best transformations still to date, like, definitely up there in, like, the top 3 most dedicated client. Like, I mean, you were ticking boxes, you were, like, dotting the I's and crossing the T's, like, proper, like, invested in it. And I remember thinking at the time, like, based on his fitness page, based on, like, he has that kind of special thing what it would take to be a good coach.
Just enjoyed it, mate. Just enjoyed it. Like, I think that's the main part of it. I think, like, enjoyed it and I looked forward to it. And at one point I thought, like, how can I transition this into something a little bit bigger than just training in the garage and just, you know, getting out and hitting steps and stuff like that. And then...
But I remember on that call, like, I could tell you were pure, like, nervous, like to say.
No, I was literally...
So that was like the 3rd of March, and then I think it was like 2 weeks later or something. You'd, like, was it 2? Wait, no, I've got a date here.
It was like 3-4 weeks or something.
Aye, and then I got a screenshot of, like, a mate, like, saying, welcome to your new career, and it was like the YMCA, like, it was at level 2 or something.
Aye, I went and bought the shittest laptop ever just to so I could do the course, and then I went through that, and that took, what, good few months, I think, 6 months or something like that. But I'm very you've learned that, man. I'm very, like, bang, bang, bang. I mean, just had to rein me in. Mate,
I remember you saying to me, I'm going to quit my job, and I'm like, no, you're not. Like, chill out a wee bit. Like, wait till you've...
maybe...
That cost a day.
Cost a day.
My eyes nearly popped clean out my head.
Like, guys, I'm going to actually quit my job. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And then shortly after that, how long after was it you decided...
Wasn't long at all, to be honest, but I think it's something that had always been probably in the back of my mind for a long, long time. But obviously at that stage of life, with regards to having a job where I travelled a lot, quite high pressured, a little person to look after, it was always something that was maybe in the future, maybe when things change a little bit. And probably at that time, one of the biggest things for me is I didn't feel it was the right thing to do to probably financially invest in myself at that stage, because it felt like it was taking financial investment away from other areas. So, for example, Macy would maybe miss out on that holiday, or do you know what I mean? So I think it got to a stage where it was probably like most people during COVID, something just happens and you go, I don't want to do this anymore.
Like, I mean, we've spoken about this in a podcast that we've done as well. Like, you were my longest kind of serving client, and I think even through that, like, we always used to joke like you'd be great in the fitness industry. So it was always something that, don't know whether we'd thought, oh, you'll be a part of Mission Fit, but for a long, long time, it was almost like we were planting the seed as if it was going to kind of happen and develop. Well,
I'll always remember one of the first, when I actually messaged you and told you that I had actually signed up to do it, your words were about fucking time.
Aye, yep.
Like, so it was always something that we spoke about, that was in the back burner, that was maybe one day type thing. And I think, like most things, there's just something that happens that you go, nah, right, now's the right time.
I think what happened to you, mate, was 18-hour days in your old job, and you were, like, stressed out, and you went, there's got to be something better than this.
Yeah, 100%. Like, at that time in my life, it was just, well, you know, we spoke pretty much daily at that point, and it was mostly you checking in to say you're still alive. Like, it was a touch stressful.
For like 2 days.
It was a touch stressful, but
I think the only time, in fact, I've got it here, like the morning walks. I think that's probably the only time that we saw you. Like, we'd meet in the morning walks, we'd have like our beanie hats on and our coffees, and we would just go and shoot the shit for like an hour.
Do you know, I think that's funny though, like, even at that time, like when we first started doing morning walks, we would go the walk, you'd go to the cabin and work, I'd go to pharmacy and work, and you'd go and maybe, I don't know, travel down to England one day, or like sit in your laptop or your computer.
Or be in Aberdeen the next day.
We just kind of do the same thing and then just disperse and then recongregate. Is that a word? Is that a word? Recongregate and just meet up again. Do you know what I mean?
But it's crazy how it's all developed, and we're sitting here, like, because obviously we'd spoke about the fact that when we're doing this podcast, nobody wants to listen to a podcast that's very scripted and like everything's word for word. We have got some keynotes here just so we don't miss anything. But like, I was trying to think of all the stuff that we've kind of went through in the last, like, it's a short space of time. It's only like 3 years. I've put like live workouts, and I remember the first time that you come round to do your first live, or the first Zumba we done. Mine, like, we were all multicoloured, and you showed up in your sister's leggings.
I hope you've not got a picture of that.
No, I've not got a picture. But if I do, and we can get it attached to this, that'd be
got
absolutely fucking class. But you were saying to me, in fact, you were saying in the group chat yesterday, that was the first time you'd met Nikki, was it not?
The first time I met, aye.
One of those first Zooms.
Aye.
You were in your sister's leggings.
It's not obviously the greatest first impression to make, is it? Fucking.
I mean, I'm
tight
glad to
leggings
see your
on.
legs have grew a wee bit.
But I touched on the morning walks as well. I mean, like, I remember when the first reel I ever done, like, about us as coaches, I think 90% of the pictures were just like morning walk pictures, selfies of all us, like, and then like Laura was involved and Lucy was involved, and it just seemed to be like folk would just kind of latch onto our walks, and it was brilliant. And I think it was probably around about then, that's when we started, that was our planning time. We would talk about ideas and bring this into, and I think that's when it started to kind of develop. How soon after was it? In fact, it was quite early on when you kind of signed up to your courses, you started using the cabin, wasn't it?
Aye, mate, so I think actually Duffy got ahead of the mark before me, didn't you? Did you start before me? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it was long at all, so I think there was probably only about 2 months of a difference.
Aye.
Is that right?
Because I did my level 2 and 3 and then started using it.
Yeah.
And that was probably kind of November time, 2021.
Aye. Even that, I remember the two of you when you were doing your course, I remember thinking, like, I'm proper going to mentor them and I'm going to make sure that they're ready. Because I wanted you to get into that course, like the level 3, and smash it. Like, and even like the examiner going, oh shit, they're amazing for this industry. And I suppose I feel as if you did. Like, you chose me as your client, which
what
is
an absolute
fucking mental. Like, 'cause I remember doing my level 3.
What a tool, man.
Who was your client?
You.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Aye, that's right.
Was I not your client? I was
so
your client
stupid,
for
man.
one of them. No, I was your client.
Aye, Roy was
And
it
you
for
were
my level 2 and
level
you were it for
2,
my
that's
level
right.
3.
And then
Because
that was yours for what, level 3?
Both, I think.
Aye.
Mate,
Which is the twos are mental, because I remember when I done my level 2 and level 3, I was fucking shaking like a shitting dog, man, honestly.
I remember you're my client for my level 2. I did a stretch. It was like to open up the chest, said it was a back stretch. She told me it was wrong. I looked at you and went, I'm a fuck ever doing this again. He's never been my client for any exam ever. And then just obviously got you to date. I wasn't as nervous.
No, thanks.
But it was good though, because like, see, because we had the cabin, it was like, obviously it was like a private PT studio. We could go in there and we could literally, because I remember you used to go through to certain aspect, and I'd be like, shite, do it again.
Aye.
You're like, what?
There was a few
Aye.
colourful
Nicky
conversations,
wanting-
wasn't there?
I think Nicky was wanting to stab me a
That's
couple
the
of
thing
times.
though, man, because obviously you've known each other for so long. You just would fucking go at each other and I'm just sitting going,
Is that changed, Sean?
no, absolutely not, by the way. It happens when I'm just like, fucking let them deal with it, they'll go right in 5 minutes. But aye, it was like tough but needed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like some tough love sometimes, but no, that's shite.
It was quite good
Do it
though,
again.
because what that did is, obviously now we've got the gym and all that, like, it allowed us to blend in, work together, obviously see each other's boundaries, get to know each other's characteristics, good points, bad points, because listen, in business there's up and downs, and there's tough conversations, and there's obviously tough moments and emotional moments, which we're going to get to. But just to cover another couple of the points here, like, after the cabin, it was like, right, okay, we quickly realised that all of us were growing. The community behind the challenges were there. I needed like a kind of safety net for the fall off the challenges, because everybody was going to other gyms, and we thought, right, well, what are we doing here? Let's just open our own facility. I had like a pot there that we could invest, and you just come in and invested in your future, and we opened the gym, and it genuinely is the best thing we've ever done. The gym has went from strength to strength, and then unfortunately, as you know, I broke my fucking leg while I was expecting twins. And genuinely at the time, like, I remember thinking everything happens for a reason, and the leg break was like a crazy time for me. But I remember thinking, if I hadn't connected with they two, and they two hadn't trusted in Mission Fit and various other things, the gym just wouldn't have opened. Because if it was just me doing what I used to do for the kind of 9-10 years previous, I wouldn't have been able to open it, I wouldn't have been able to staff it, that kind of stuff. So it all seemed to happen at the right time. And I've said to you before, but I'll say it again, thanks. Like I can't thank you enough for that time. It was mental. And I remember I can imagine what you were like when you get the phone call.
Mate,
Roy's broke his leg.
Nicky phoned me and was like, you thought it was like, I was something. Roy's broke his leg, and I was like, alright, what's actually happened? She's like, Roy's broke his leg, and I'm like, okay, shit.
Aye.
Just 5-a-sides.
Yeah.
Wednesday night.
Aye. Crazy.
Madness, mate.
Never played football since, by the way, and I don't think I ever will again.
I don't think half the folk that played in that Wednesday night that we used to play
Ah.
have. Probably fucking scarred everybody, man.
Just remember the sound it breaking. But anyway, that's for a different podcast.
With me passing out here.
But I like twins obviously came along, young children, like sleepless nights, running on literally 1-2 hours sleep a night. They two would cover classes for me, make sure I come in a wee bit later and stuff. So I like the team that we've got is unbelievable. Then the gym, we get a letter through to say that we've been nominated for best gym in Ayrshire to start with. We were like, we win that's amazing. When we were all like, it's Ayrshire, we really want to win this. Like we were sitting and it was like our category was after the meal, so it's like trying to do a best man speech and you haven't eaten your dinner and you can't because your stomach's doing pretty much what our stomach was doing before we started this podcast. And then announced we were the winners of the best gym in Ayrshire, so that was phenomenal for us because when you open something and you put yourself out there, we knew we had the community, but you just kind of need that bit of reassurance that you're doing something right, and that was it. And I think that just gave us this big boost. And then we get invited to the Nationals and we were like there's gyms in Glasgow, like there's gyms all over the place. Like we're a small fish here, we're never winning this. And then I remember like we were up there and we had a few drinks, a few tequilas and all that, just thinking we're just here for a good time. It was like a coach's night out, and then next thing it was like, and the winner is Mission Fit. And I'm like, oh shit, right, we'll need to talk on stage now. And we went up and we won best gym in Scotland, and again it kind of grew arms and legs. We got a big influx of memberships, and it's kind of continued that thread all the way through. And talking about the memberships, the core membership that we have is very diverse. That evolution is a thread all the way through it. It's very family orientated. There's just a really nice feel and a really nice buzz. It's just something quite special, isn't it?
It's class.
Off the back of that, we've been involved in many charity events. We now have our charity of the year, which I think we're deciding like categorically that it's going to be the charity of next year. It's going to be kind of Megan Space as well. A charity close to our heart. We've raised thousands and thousands of pounds for them. The last Friday of every month, we planned like team days. We'd go to like a different gym or a different spa, and my wife would be like, another jaunt for you, is it? And because obviously the kids were a wee bit small, but it was just a way for us to go away and get the creative juices flowing, go into other gym settings, see what they were doing that we weren't doing, or what they were doing that we would never do, that kind of type stuff, get some nice food. So like the relationship is developed and it's grew strength on strength on strength. And I think both yous will agree, there's nothing that we can't come to each other with. Like I feel as if we are that close of friends now that even the most awkward and emotional stuff, like we've shared our most vulnerable things with each other. And I think that's been important all the way through, because we tell our clients, like through their journey, it's never all sunshine and rainbows. There's always going to be tough times, and I think communicating that and having people that you can bounce off, it makes it quite special. So I think it was quite important for us to touch on how the Mission Fit journey began.
100%. Okay,
so obviously the podcast is called Evolution. We've explained to you the kind of thread of Mission Fit, how it started. You're all probably wondering why we're doing this podcast. We wanted to do a podcast, but the kind of thread of this podcast is because we've got something quite big and quite emotional to share. Mr. McKinnon has decided he is flying the nest and he's going to do something on his own. I'll let Sean explain what that is and when that is and all the kind of details later on. But I think the reason that we want to do this podcast is because you as listeners, if you're listening to this, you're probably listening for a wee bit of gossip at the same time, but you know, social media, the fitness industry, most industries spin a narrative. The minute they get the word of anything, before you know it, it's 5 people down the line and it's a completely different story. We have been subject to that. We have heard it. We work in an environment where we see it all the time, and we just wanted to get ahead of it, to be honest. We wanted to chat about it, and we wanted to show you guys that we are absolutely in support of each other. There is no fallout. There is nothing along the lines of any negativity. We just kind of wanted to clear it up and just hear it through the horse's mouth. I felt as if, well, we all felt as if it's much more natural to do that. And if we explained our side of things and why we were doing it, I think it would just calm that noise, and it would allow all of us just to have the best experience going forward and supporting each other.
That's mental when you actually say that out loud, isn't it, man? It's just hit me like a ton of bricks.
Definitely got to cry.
No, mate, I'm definitely going to cry. Where's the tissues?
I'm actually expecting tears, if I'm honest.
No, I completely agree, mate. Like, I think it's important, and this is much more than just putting it in an Instagram post or a video on Instagram stories or whatever to say kind of what's happening. And I think it's important to contextualise and give a bit of background as to obviously why, the hows, the whys, the whats, the whens, and just show that there is, as you guys say, like there's quite evidently no fucking fallout. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no bad blood. It's all being very respectful, very honest, and everyone's got everyone's best intentions at heart, I think. That's my 2 pence on it. You want to add anything on that before we? No? Right. Sound. But aye, so probably first question, why?
Can I just add a wee bit, actually?
You absolutely can.
I'll add a wee bit, because I know you're going to start crying, mate, and I'll save you for a wee bit. Thing is as well, like, see when we spoke about this, right? See, as a coach, our full life's work, so to speak, involves time, effort and care, right? And when you're putting time, effort and care into anything, it invokes some of the most powerful emotions, right? And they'll agree with this. See, when you put some such time, care and effort into taking a client from where I was broken to someone who's coming in and going, my life is completely transformed, I'm feeling amazing. And then when that client decides that they've came to the end of their journey, or they maybe go to another gym or something, it fucking hurts, man. Like, it gets you in the feels, right? But the hurt doesn't come from a place of, oh, fuck you. It comes from a place of, like, there's an element of you're gutted to see them go, but you're also fucking so proud of what you've achieved together and what's blossomed. And that's what this is. Like, Sean's our fucking mucker. Sean is our best mate. And when Sean came to me a couple of weeks ago and said, holy fuck, I feel a wee bit emotional now, man. When he came to me, like, obviously he'd built it up in his head for ages. I'd spoke to his dad about it and all that. Like, he was pure nervous, and rightly so. It's one of those awkward conversations. How do you say that to a guy who's like mentored you, and like to a guy who's your mate, and like we've had plans about Mission Fit in the future and whatever. Like, when he came to me, I was absolutely gutted. But how can I be annoyed or like angry at someone who I see a lot of myself in wanting to do well and wanting to evolve? Because that's exactly what people should want to do. They should see something or feel something and want to do something. And as you as their friend should want to support that. Is it a fucking huge loss for Mission Fit? Of course it is. Of course it is. Will we need to make changes? Of course we will. Will Mission Fit still be amazing? Of course it will. But will it fucking hurt? Absolutely. And it's going to fucking sting for a long time. But all we can do is show support, stay strong, stay close, and just, make sure each of us are doing well.
I think it's absolutely not a decision that's been an overnight thing. Do you know what I mean? As you say, mate, like, this is something that I've thought about and, as you say, discussed. Like, obviously, you know, my mum and dad are abroad, so like there's been multiple Skype calls, and am I doing the right thing? Am I on the right thought process? And is this mental what I'm doing? Like, blah blah blah, so on. And I think a lot of it was humming and hawing and toing and froing. And I said to you, mate, like, so I am not good at hiding stuff. When I'm not me, I'm not me. And I think we're all like that. I don't think any of us are good at hiding when we're not 100%. And
especially when you're close with each other, you know when someone's a bit uneasy.
When you're working 30, 40 plus hours a week with people, you notice, and you think you're better at hiding stuff than you actually are. And you messaged me and you're like, is everything all right? And I was like, it was the day before you went to Euros, and I'm like, and it had been on my mind for ages, and I'm like, mate, everything's cool. And then I'm like, I can't. I knew I just couldn't speak to you about that the next day, because I knew near the end of the Euros, and I'm like,
it wasn't the right time.
I want him to enjoy himself, and I said to you, I don't think there was a right time, but I think there was times which would have been better than others to mention it. And then we were away, and then back for the Euros, fucking rough for about 4 days, and then we had the family fun
too,
day.
Too
And
emotional to have that conversation.
it was just a bit of an up-down week, and probably at this point I'm just like, I need this. Like, if you know I'm not 100%, like I was scrutinising absolutely everything. I'm like, right, okay, and it's no that I didn't feel I could speak to any of you about this. It was just that the fact that it was such a massive thing, because once that's out, it's out.
Yeah,
that's it. And I think the night before I'm like building myself up, and I'm like, right, I'm going to fuck up message Roy who been in his bed this time, I'll no reply. And I was like sending the messages like, can we get a wee chat? And he replied straight away. I'm like, didn't expect that to happen.
my sixth sense, mate.
So then I just say, like, the conversation kind of following day, and I always want to just be honest, and I wanted to be honest from the get-go, and I felt like I'd been lying for like kind of 2-3 weeks before that, because I wasn't myself and I wasn't able to act myself, and this was just eating away at me. And once it was out, it felt like, I don't know, it felt like a weight off my shoulders, because I had actually told you, not because like, right, cool, that's happening. It was because like, this is out there.
I noticed that I actually
feel.
commented to you, didn't I? I said like, sure, like, because you didn't seem like yourself for ages, and I was like, there's something off with him. And then I remember saying to you, like, once we all knew about it, I remember you in the gym and you were back to that kind of like sprightly, and I'm going, like, that was weighing in him big time.
I
You
felt
could just
like a
tell,
pure liar, man.
Yeah.
I just felt like I was totally bottling this up and just being pure fake for like 3 weeks. And
I think as well, but that's kind of probably testament to the relationship that we've got, because you weren't doing anything wrong. There's nothing wrong whatsoever in what you're doing. But when you work closely and you've got a respect and such a deep friendship with people, when you know there's something you want to share and you don't, then it weighs on you.
absolutely.
But also as well, when there's a decision like that, one, when it's a thought, you've already kind of thought, right, okay, this potentially might happen. But two, you kind of need to do your research before you make that decision and make that public, because you can't just go to somebody, oh, by the way, I've had this epiphany, the way that you used to act. I want to just quit my job today. Like, you can't just do that. You need to actually go and do a bit of research, look at units and stuff. So there's probably an element of you looking at this going, oh, I'm fucking kind of crossing the line here, and they don't. So, but that's understandable, and I think when we had the conversation and that all came to light, that was we understood that, mate.
I said that to you, like, I felt like I was cheating. I was looking online at like properties and things like that, potential facilities, and I was just slapping the laptop lid down. I'm like, this doesn't feel right. I couldn't foresee it, and then obviously once it was out, but there was always like this wee fucking, you know, that little voice in the back of your head, like, what if he fucking never speaks to you again, man? What if he never? And I'm like, and obviously that wasn't the case at all. But in all fairness to both of you, like, couldn't have went any better. The response, I mean, couldn't have went any better than I could have possibly hoped for, I suppose, because I think in worst case scenario, I'm thinking, what if Roy never speaks to me again, man? If Nicky falls out to me, like, what if, but actually it's the total opposite. And you know that deep down, there's all that little kind of 1% you're thinking worst case scenario. But that was said to you, and then it did feel like I could kind of relax a wee bit after that, to be fair. But it definitely felt real. I went home, Skype. I think you were I kind of pulled you first, and then like I'll chat to you first. Sorry, pulled you for a chat in fucking Love Island. And then went home and Skyped my mum and dad, and I think I was just in that days, and I was on Skype to them, just pure greeting, and I was like, why was I not feeling this emotional when I spoke to Roy? But I think it was just the shock of things, and then come back down and you're like, mate, I just started to phone Laura, man, I can't concentrate, and it's just like...
But I'd message your dad as well, and like, I was pure kind of greeting, messaging your dad, thinking, like, because like, obviously when you're messaging, I know how close you and your dad are, and I know your dad knows how close we are, and I wanted your dad to know that there would be no hard feelings, because your dad's in like, pretty much the other side of the world, worrying about his boy making this huge decision. I know how much he knew that was stressing you, so I kind of wanted to make him know, like, aware that, like, it's no bad blood for me. It's like, I understand where Sean's coming from, and if I can in any way, I'll support him.
100%. And I think you were the same, to be fair. You took it all right, except for greeting.
Were you greeting?
Duffy, great.
Did you?
Aye.
Like a wee greet.
Mate, was it
That's why I left you to it, man, because I knew I'd agree. When they're doing a group hug,
in future, like any news like that, you could check my cycle, if I'm honest. There's certain days that's a little bit more tough to hear than others.
Duffy's like a raging bull, I just don't approach anything. It's like that.
1 week of the month, mate, you just avoid.
See, to be fair, you probably got the good bit, the tears.
1 week that one she's good, mate. But no, aye. So it was obviously a big decision. It is a big decision. It's going to be a mental few months. Kind of towards the end of the year and things like that, when things start to move. And as I said, obviously, you will be the first to know, and that's the way it'll stay. Like anything that happens in any movements, that's the way it's going to be. But there's definitely still going to be. I'm still going to give 100% to Mission Fit until the day I step foot out that door. Do you know what I mean? And that sounds fucking mental, man.
So,
aye.
what are you going to tell people? What are you actually going to do? What is your next move?
Aye. So I obviously can't confirm like locations or anything like that. But ultimately what I'm going to do is open my own wee facility and just PT my clients initially. Just have a space that I think you resonate with this as well, mate. Like Mission Fit's your baby, and ultimately I just want something that's my baby at this minute, and then see what happens kind of going on from there. Obviously it might not work for some clients and things like that, but I'll cross those bridges when I come to it. Depending on location and all that, but as I say, I don't really know exactly where that's going to be. Nothing's been confirmed as yet, or as of this date. Potentially when this comes out, it might be.
It probably will be. You'll probably be in the fucking...
And moves will maybe have started to kind of be made, but yeah, initially it's just going to be a space to PT my clients, and then on from that, I enjoy working with groups, but I don't want to run classes immediately. I would rather go down the route of PT and then kind of more of a small group personal training side of things, and then into the future we'll see how that grows and things like that. But I don't want to be doing that straight away. I want to have my time and kind of have, I don't even know how to word it, like have my space and have my space for my clients and have something that's mine right now. And then I suppose it's all well and good saying and trying to plan it, but I don't have it all figured out right now. Do you know what I mean? I
just
don't know
need to
the
get and
answers.
settle in. You need to get the facility,
Aye.
get it the way you want it.
It's hard to answer, like.
Aye, you've got your client base there anyway. Just see how the land lies and just go with the flow. Because the thing is, I think like what we've always done, well, what I've always done and what we've always done when you guys came on board, you go with the vibe, man.
Aye.
Like the vibe of Mission Fit has always been the vibe of the people that are involved with Mission Fit. Yeah. It's never what we thought Mission Fit would ever be in terms of, oh, this is what I want it to be like. That's the way it's going. We've always looked and gone, right, okay, what kind of demographic we've got, like, and I think Mission Fit is definitely over the years. It was a one-man band for me. It was personal training. It was group challenges which were phenomenally successful, and then it developed into this massive community that has got a diversity from like 8 years old to like 79.
Aye.
So it's like this huge big wave of people with all different backgrounds, and it's just that's the vibe that we're flowing, and you'll find your vibe as well, mate.
I think it is hard to answer, like, or to give a roadmap, but initially it's literally a space for me to PT my clients and have as mine, and kind of control my time and try and manage my week as an actual fully functioning adult with responsibilities, because it's going to be a lot more to think about now going forward.
Thank fuck we don't need to listen to country music anymore, by the way.
Well, I don't have anything to say. I have no words. You will, by the way, because Duffy's converting.
Don't mind a wee bit
I
of
walked in
country.
yesterday and she had Luke Combs on.
Don't mind a wee bit of
Try to
country.
get a PB and back squat to fucking...
Tim McGraw.
I think the next one was obviously about moving forward. Probably something that a lot of people will be thinking about, or it will cross their mind is will we still maintain our friendship and our relationships kind of moving forward? And I think the answer to that one is
no.
Absolutely not. Does it be a shit in the woods, really? I think one thing that we hear time and time again is in relation to our friendship and how it just seems to work. And it's probably not three people that you would naturally put together, but it just seems to work, and we all seem to vibe really well with each other.
I'm worried though, because when Sean leaves, who's going to split us up? I feel as if you're going to hit me with a dumbbell or something one day.
Aye.
I feel like if there's ever a question about who's going to survive, that there's a very clear answer, personally. But hey, I think that, yeah, it's not always easy working with people. Let's just leave it at that, right? Certainly ones that you class as your best mates. Yeah. It can sometimes be a bit stressful. Sometimes Roy can be a bit of a princess.
Oh, well.
But do you know what? He's still here. Like, it works. So I think that when three people have got a bit of a kind of common vision they've got a vibe, they've got a passion, they've got a mutual respect for each other, then why would that ever change? And I think that just because we won't necessarily be in the same building every day, then, I mean, definitely expect to see you to either like steal toilet roll or come in to use a bathroom. Or
I was more thinking like
Definitely
food.
nobody using the bathroom now, man.
Aye.
Like, he does enough of that at the moment.
Aye. Shit in
You,
your own
you can
woods
do
now.
number one.
okay.
You can shit in your own woods now.
I was more thinking I would just kind of nip in and take part in the funness and see if any of us can actually make it as hard as I can.
Challenge accepted,
Does,
motherfucker.
I think the kind of fundamental point is it doesn't really change the foundations of what we built, and that moving forward, we'll still be continuing to put up with you.
Aye, 100%. I think like I agree, and I'll definitely still be coming in. I'll definitely still be. I'd fully expect invites to Christmas nights out, birthdays, babies, birthdays, other things. Any event, I'll be there, and gym related as well, like Goat Fells, Ben Lomans, all that community stuff. I would definitely still be.
Well, the thing
I'll be
is, we
showing
talk
up, do you know
about
what I mean?
community.
Like I don't think.
We talk about community, and if you've got your community, well, you've got your community, we have our community, it becomes one community,
Aye.
you know what I mean? And I think if we show unity, then they show unity, and it just means the impact that we have
Aye, it's great.
in our local area is just bigger and better.
Aye, I don't think there's any need for that not to be a thing, do you know what I
No,
mean?
of course.
Like,
But that's the reason why we're doing this, because a lot of folk will think straight away that there'll be friction and stuff, and I think hopefully it's clear to see that that's not going to be the case.
I mean, if you've got to this point of watching this and still think that's going to be the case, then just may as well just switch it off.
So obviously we spoke about all the stuff that happened and how Nicky and Sean became part of Mission Fit and all that. Like, I took some notes here, and there was just some stuff that definitely made me very emotional when I was writing it, and things like when all that happened, and obviously I'd kind of sensed that Sean was maybe thinking about the fitness and stuff like that. When he came on board, like, I never intended to take Nicky and Sean under my wing. Like, I think there's just an element of something that you cannot teach, and I think when you look at coaches, you look at the amount of people coming through the industry that want to be coaches. Not everybody has it, that special sauce, and the two of them definitely had it. I kind of gravitated towards them, they gravitated towards us, and I think seeing them with people was just the key factor. But not only that, like I've said it before, like the most honest, loyal folk that I know, but the values and the work ethic in them, again, that cannot be taught or bought. Like, that has to be ingrained, and that's a habitual habit, and that comes from the upbringing and the parents and that kind of stuff. And I think knowing what I wanted and the vision that I seen for Mission Fit and where it was going, and the vibe we were talking about, that evolution was just naturally to bring them in. With Sean especially, like, I've got two younger brothers, one who's no longer here. We've obviously spoke about that many times, but Sean's actually younger than my wee brothers, which surprises me. No visually, mate, like, because you look great, right? But
tough paper.
but the maturity levels, the drive and stuff like that, like, it's a maturity and a drive that I hadn't seen in a boy his age, and I felt as if I had that, but it just wasn't nurtured, and I felt as if I could step in and nurture that at the very early stage. And if I'm being honest, eradicate a lot of the shite of the industry that I had to claw my way through, and just kind of give him the platform straight off the bat. I kind of wanted to do that, and the same with Nicky, I wanted to do that because I knew that it would pay me back dividends, not just financially, but just the way that Mission Fit has grown, and it has, and more. And it's probably why I received the benefit of them supporting me through the leg break. And I mean, even when the boys were born, Theo and Joey, like, they were probably the two first visitors up to see us when the boys were born, aside for like immediate family. So the closeness was already there. I think you wrote this, and you sent me the screenshot of the bit of paper, and I've kind of put it here, which is quite weird. Everyone who starts is always rubbish, but not everyone who starts has something, and it goes back to that special sauce. And like, I seen it straight off the bat with they two, and I seen that they had something, and I'm so glad that we've got to this point. And I suppose the point I'm trying to make is, I don't think Sean will have any problems like going it alone. Like, I think he'll absolutely smash it, and we will be there all the way through to support that. No, you're not here. I'm disappointed.
He's wobbling.
I'm trying to compose myself, really. I suppose I've put a few wee things down here. Like I don't like reading off stuff because I like to just go natural, but I don't want to forget it. So I've put a wee bit just to kind of closing. It sounds kind of mental, like closing chapter almost. Like I suppose when I first like started the challenges and stuff, I literally just wanted to not be fat anymore. Like that was it. I just wanted to not be fat anymore. And I think through those programs and that process of learning multiple habits and how to better yourself and how to improve continually and just tweak the little things and just try to be that kind of 1% better. We like non-negotiables and things like that, and that ultimately has kind of led us to sort of where we all are today. And you've obviously been through a similar journey, like client-wise. And I remember, like, mate, I used to walk like by your house and be like, guy's living a fucking dream, man. Like, look at him, nice house, me cabin at the back, works, it's sunny, takes some time off, does what he wants. And I remember thinking that, and we said earlier on at the start, like I used to genuinely get nervous because I did look up to you, and I still do, mate, like so much. And I would be like, I wonder how can I do that, and how can you work like this when I'm doing like a 9 to 5 and I'm hating it and I'm miserable. And obviously I didn't know at that time like what was going through your head. It's funny how people from the outside can look and create a picture, and that's definitely the picture I created. I was like, this is brilliant. And I think as well, something I probably didn't understand was how much fucking hard work is involved in being a personal trainer. Like it's graft, man.
Folk think you get the certificate, and it takes a while. It takes a while, and I think that's probably the beauty of you guys coming in to the Mission Fit kind of family.
100%.
The bar was raised straight away, and the access to a client base and all that was there straight away.
100%.
So listen, it didn't stop you from working any harder. Of course it didn't, but it definitely cut the shit a wee bit, and it cut the mustard, and you could just kind of go in and deal with clients for all walks of life, by the way, because I think especially when folks start out their journey, they start to try to be a wee bit more selective, or the opposite, they just take everything that's coming.
Aye.
Whereas, see, because we were working through the challenges and I kind of brought yous on board and yous were doing a little bit of the admin, initially yous were starting to see that in actual fact folk are quite complex. It's not just about setting somebody's calories and just telling them to get on with it. Like, there's so many complexities when it comes to dealing with a human, because that's what we deal with, and I think that gets lost along the way in our industry. Folk just think you're dealing with a number and a transformation picture. It's not that at all. And I think that was one of the key things that I wanted to try and mentor you through and kind of educate you on.
I don't think it's just that as well. That's obviously a huge part of it, but I think a bit that a lot of people don't see is that you're running a business and you're wearing lots of different hats to be able to run that business. Yeah. And it's not just a case of being on the gym floor or being at the other end of a phone. There's a million and one other tasks off the back of that as well. Yep. And I think that's something that people don't generally see, and being able to actually be a master at your craft, but also do the things that some people class as the mundane day-to-day admin tasks and balance that and still have some semblance of any type of downtime or free time is a bit of a knack.
It's hard though, because like, see, I've actually got something at the end here that, where is it actually? I think, see, when you come on board, like you said, like you used to walk by my house and you'd see like I had this nice house and this cabin and all that, and my life is brilliant. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say my life is shit, right? Because it's no, like, I've created a really fucking good life. But there was times, especially around about then, I didn't even know how much I needed the change in you guys to come on board. Like, I remember saying to you, like, the challenges were the most successful they'd ever been. Like, I was probably more profitable than I'd ever been in a business. And I was at probably my lowest point when it came to the business, because I felt as if, because it was all online and I drifted away from predominantly the PT stuff, I felt as if I didn't have that connection, and I was so low, and I'm going, is this what I want to do, man? Like, and obviously online you don't really get that emotional like cue from the individual, so you're dealing with words all the time, or you maybe get the odd Zoom call, so you're not really getting that feel for a client either. So it was all quite, I felt as if I was kind of slugging my way through the days, and I was very, very low. And then when they guys come on, I remember what you touched on, like, is this work? Like, how many times did we all used to say that? We used to like have a couple of clients in the morning and then have like 3 hours off in the afternoon. We'd go for a coffee, go a walk, and like me and you used to go up the cages and play basketball and long shooting and all that.
Let's not talk about long shooting, mate.
I don't think there's any game you've ever beat me in, is there?
let's press pause on that. I don't know, man. There's got to be something. There's got to be something.
But the point is, like, we used to, like, and still, like, don't get me wrong, when the business grows, there's more responsibility and there is a lot more tasks. And we're not saying we've got a jolly, by the way, because when you run a business, there is a lot of stuff that we're doing at 9, 10 o'clock at night on admin side of things, with imagery and graphics and forms and data and stuff. But the general point is we have a phenomenal opportunity.
Just stuff, man.
just stuff. But we have a great life. We've created a great life, and I think you've seen the potential in that. And that's one thing that I will say about you, mate. Like, you've never ever saw that and overlooked it and not thought grateful about it. Like, it's always been a lifestyle that you've went, I'm so lucky to have this.
I think one of the things that, it's got to sound like I'm blowing smoke up my own arse, but I think one of the things that I am actually quite good at, and I'm never giving myself compliments, is like looking back and being like,
you're good at that.
Fucking hell, man.
Memories,
like, mate, it's been a year since this, that's 6 months since that, or it's been 2 years since this, or qualified 3 years ago, I mean, that fucking hell, it's been 3 years since I sent you that message. Like, wee things like that, and just going fucking hell, and like try to kind of almost go back to like how you felt at that time, and being like, I actually remember how I felt miserable, like pure drained, like working that 9 to 5, hating it. I remember how I felt when I sent the message and on the phone call, like pure shaking, and just like, now you're sitting here looking, you're sitting in this class studio, like talking about how the last few years have gone. Like, it's definitely grateful to call it work. Like, it's, and sometimes does it feel like work? Sometimes it does. Sometimes it absolutely does.
I think the busier you get, mate, I said to you, and it was on that sheet that you'd sent me, there was loads of notes. It was like, I remember saying to you, you're going to need to do, you got it there, no? You're going to need to like do 14 to 16 hour days. Like, you're going to need to build this reputation. You're going to need to show, because the thing is, especially in personal training, like PTs pop up and see the first year or two, they're just a PT. They're just kind of clinging on to the industry. It's when a PT gets to 3, 4, 5, 6 years in the industry and they define themselves as who they are. That's when folks start to take them a bit more kind of serious, you know.
Fucking, this is mental, man.
So you got it there.
I mean, I've got it right. So like, some of the stuff is like, you're no surprised. Obviously, the phone call I've had is like, I'm thinking about doing my level 2 and 3 PT qualification, and like, no surprise, you've spoke to Laura about it before. A few weeks back, you would 100% support me, and absolutely fucking stayed true to your word with that. Like, develop your own style and always be myself. Gain knowledge, as much knowledge as you can at the minute, from you. And that actually says here, we could work together in the future. Open a gym. That's the 3rd of March 2021. I don't know if cameras can see this, but
it's mad.
Aye, and then everyone starts shit, but works hard. 14, 15 hour days, classes where one person has turned up, and potential to be great, which is mad. 3rd of March 2021. Conversation with Roy Blakely. I know. Big full name.
But that's mad. But see what you're saying there about you like looking back. It's that whole don't ever look back until the only reason you look back is to see how far you've come.
100%.
You're very sentimental. You don't just look back at the negative emotions. You always look back at the positives. Aye. And you're always like resharing like your archive. Like,
such a
remember that time I did.
No,
but it's good though. It's good because it's kind of taught me to do that as well. Because you do get caught in the tidal wave of like. Because I think, see, at the time as well, like, going back to that whole emotional state when I was in before you joined, I remember the challenges doing really well, and I started getting into this frame of mind of like, right, okay, can I beat that number next time? And it was like, I started to lose the sense of what it was about, you know what I mean? And I'd vented this to yous, and I just feel as if I just needed someone. And when yous come into the business, it almost as if I'd like someone, or people to like bounce ideas off, and like, Nicky's my concrete wellies in business. Like, you tell her something, she'll just bring you straight back to the earth when I go off in these wee tangents and stuff. But you need that.
Is it needed?
Aye, you need that balance. And aye, mate, you'll be a big loss to the team.
Man, I'm doing this because I feel
knuckle cracking and all.
Man. What?
You're even doing it now, cracking your knuckles.
Nerves, nail biting. Aye, like, the only other things I had in here was like, I've built a gym, a community, and more importantly, what we've created is a bond that will last a lifetime. So I truly believe it will. Like, it's mad. And being able to work with two of your best friends and doing something that you all love, changing people's lives and spending so much time with each other. And actually, like, I don't think you two have, but I don't think we've ever fallen out. Like, I think it's always just been. I'm
trying to think. I don't think me and you've ever been in a disagreement about it.
Nah, I'm just like, fucking whatever, chilled. But aye, and that's something that I think we all want it to be abundantly clear is going to continue along into the future. Like, I'm still going to absolutely come to you for advice and spend time and be a part of the community and jump into sessions and fucking annoy yous and all the time. And
I wish I'd looked back at some of
If
the...
you remove me for that fucking group chat.
I wish I'd looked back at some of the questions that you've asked before.
About you?
I know that.
The advice
About you?
question,
No,
no,
just
like
in
just
life,
general life
just-
questions.
But, like,
When you used to be a man child and like you, but you're just
some of the
when you
messages that used
when
to
you were
bring through.
evolving.
Any spring to mind? If they don't spring to mind, then it didn't happen.
I wish I'd went back and looked.
Listen, what happens in the group chat stays in the group
Aye,
chat.
that's true, by the way. That's true.
It needs to be.
I think as well, like I don't know when we're going to also put this out, but I think it's really hard to not thank like clients and members of Mission Fit as well, mate, for every bit of support, past and present, like that have given all of us to like have the opportunity to be able to build the gym, to be able to grow for us to be able to grow as individuals and as a team, and I think as well for obviously me to now be able to be in a position to go on and now and be fortunate enough to feel like I can go on and do this, and I think that deserves a mention because obviously we wouldn't be where we are without them either.
Absolutely not,
The same
mate,
way that I wouldn't be where I am without you guys and that sort of thing. So I think they definitely deserve a big mention. And I genuinely will be grateful for genuinely can try so hard. For everything, man. Like,
Handled this well, man.
No, mate.
Usually you'd be like,
Sitting here picking heels in my legs. No, genuinely, like to both of you, just for always being there, no matter what it is, what time of day, what's happened, personal, work, whatever. And obviously, it's been like, as I said, my parents have been away for like the last 9 years, so they've not been here. Yous have been my go-tos, like kind of fucking 24/7. So, aye, thank you.
anytime, mate. So, guys, obviously, big news. The trio is parting ways. Obviously, you like this. We were want to tell you that Sean's kind of moving on, and obviously highlight categorically the support and the love. It will never be lost. But I don't want you guys thinking that there's going to be anything happening in Mission Fit. Mission Fit's going to continue to grow, and obviously, a big question will be now what the future kind of holds for Mission Fit and stuff. So, you want to take a lead in this?
You nearly got me there.
Yeah, I'm just like,
Oh, you nearly away already.
my hay fever's gone.
So I think from a point of view, what does the future look like for Mission Fit? Right now, day to day, absolutely no changes to our day to day. We will still continue to provide our members with the best service and the extensive timetable that we do. You'll still get the good banter, and we'll still have that huge board in the gym up with all the different events that we've got planned. So day to day, absolutely no changes. I think moving forward in terms of the future, we'll be continuing with some of the plans that we already had in place, and just looking at other avenues as well. But one of the main things is that we're going to be heavily investing in new equipment and continue our plans, potentially looking at further expansion as well. I think that some of the things that we've spoke about as a trio as well, there's loads of different things that we still believe as a business we can bring to the community. Loads of things that are going to bring benefit and help get people moving and active. And I think one of those main things as well is looking at the introduction of junior memberships and kind of family style memberships as well. Because what greater way to get your kids involved than to allow them to see their parents moving their body, making sure that you build that bond between parent and child and just help create fit, healthy future generations. So there's loads still to be happening. There's loads that will be happening. We'll continue with our collaborations with local businesses in the area and also some of the local organisations as well, because there's lots and lots of employers out there that need help with regards to how to keep their employees fit and healthy and active moving forward. So loads, basically.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm all good, man. Couldn't have said it better myself.
You can
So, guys, thank
Close and
you.
wobbly.
Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you've watched to the end. Hopefully you guys have felt what we feel. A combination of extreme sadness, but very, very, very proud moment for Sean. Big step for him. And hopefully you guys do the same as what we've done and wish him all the best. Speak soon.